The outpost had no name, at least none that anyone bothered to remember. Officially, it was Designation K-47, a remote mining and research installation orbiting a gas giant at the far edge of explored space. Unofficially, the crew called it the Edge, because beyond it lay nothing but darkness, uncharted systems, and silence that seemed older than time itself. Commander Elias Varn had been stationed there for 11 months, 17 days, and a handful of hours he had long since stopped counting. Time blurred at the Edge. Days stretched into one another, punctuated only by routine scans, maintenance checks, and the constant hum of machinery keeping them alive in a vacuum that cared nothing for human existence. The crew numbered 43 when he arrived. It had dwindled to 31. Not from accidents, not from disease, but from something no one could explain. It started with the signals. At first, they were faint, barely distinguishable from cosmic background noise. A rhythmic pulse buried deep within the electromagnetic spectrum, repeating every 73 seconds. The science team dismissed it as interference from the gas giant's magnetic storms. But Elias didn't believe that. He had served long enough in deep space to know when something felt wrong. Run it again, he had told Dr. Mira Solon, the lead xenobiologist. Mira had sighed, brushing a strand of dark hair from her face as she leaned over the console. Commander, I've already filtered it through 3 different algorithms. There's nothing structured about it. Nothing natural either, Elias replied. She paused then, her fingers hovering above the interface. That was the first moment doubt entered the room. 3 days later, the signal changed. It became stronger, clearer, intentional. The first disappearance happened on a maintenance shift. Technician Rafe Coleman had gone out to repair an external relay dish. His tether remained intact. His suit telemetry showed normal vitals. Until it didn't. His heartbeat spiked. Breathing accelerated. Then, nothing. No distress call. No scream. Just silence. When they reeled him back in, his suit was empty. No breach. No damage. Just empty. The incident sent ripples of fear through the station. Security doubled patrols. External operations were suspended. Everyone stayed inside, watching, waiting, listening, because the signal had changed again. It was no longer a pulse. It was a pattern. They're not random frequencies, Mira said during an emergency briefing. Her voice was steady, but her eyes betrayed her unease. They're structured, mathematical. Like a code, someone asked. More like language, she replied. A murmur spread across the room. Elias stood at the head of the table, arms crossed. Can you translate it? Not yet. But it's evolving. Adapting to our scans. Adapting? Lieutenant Harker repeated. You're saying it knows we're listening? Mira hesitated. Yes. That was when fear truly took hold. The second disappearance was not as quiet. 2 guards stationed in Corridor D reported movement on their sensors, something large, moving against the station's outer hull. Probably debris, Control told them. But the guards weren't convinced. I'm telling you, it's moving with the station, one of them said over comms. Then came the sound, a low, resonant vibration that seemed to pass through metal, bone, and thought itself. The guards panicked. They opened fire, blasting the reinforced bulkhead as if whatever was outside could feel their fear. Then the wall responded. It rippled. Not cracked. Not shattered. It moved. Like liquid. Like flesh. The last thing the guards transmitted was a scream. When the team reached Corridor D, the weapons were still there. The guards were not. By the 3rd week, the station was unraveling. Sleep became impossible. The signal, now a constant whisper, seemed to echo inside their minds. Some claimed they could hear words forming, though no 2 people heard the same thing. It's calling us, one engineer insisted before being sedated. It's watching, another whispered, staring at the ceiling. Elias tried to maintain order. He enforced rotations, mandated rest cycles, kept people moving. But fear spreads faster than discipline. And the thing outside was getting closer. It appeared first on the external cameras, a shape drifting just beyond visual clarity. Massive, graceful.
Wrong.
It moved without propulsion, gliding through space like a living shadow. Its form seemed to shift depending on the angle, sometimes elongated, sometimes coiled, sometimes something that defied geometry altogether. Mira stared at the feed, transfixed. It's not just one organism, she said. What do you mean? Elias asked. It's layered, like multiple structures overlapping in higher dimensions. Elias frowned. In plain terms, she swallowed. It's bigger than what we can see. Panic reached its peak when the evacuation order came. Command back on Earth had finally received their transmissions, fragmented as they were, and deemed K-47 compromised. A rescue vessel was dispatched. ETA, 36 hours. Pack only essentials, Elias ordered. We evacuate in phases. No one moves alone. But even as he gave the command, he knew something was wrong. The signal had stopped. For the first time in weeks, silence. And somehow that was worse. The rescue ship arrived on schedule. A sleek vessel cutting through the darkness, its lights a beacon of salvation. Docking clamps engaged. Airlocks cycled. The crew moved quickly, efficiently, fear driving them forward. They ran in terror. Elias would later remember. Not in chaos, but with urgency so intense it bordered on desperation. People didn't look back. They didn't speak. They just moved. Because deep down they knew something was coming. Elias was the last to leave. That was his duty. To ensure no one was left behind. He walked the corridors one final time, checking each compartment, each station. The lights flickered as he passed, the hum of the station growing uneven. Commander, you need to board now. Harker's voice crackled over comms. Almost done, Elias replied. He reached the central observation deck.
And stopped.
Because it was there, closer than ever before, filling the void beyond the reinforced glass. The alien entity, if it could even be called that, was no longer distant. It was watching him. Up close, it was indescribable. Its surface shimmered like liquid starlight, patterns shifting across it in ways that hurt the eyes to follow. Tendrils, or something like them, extended and retracted, phasing in and out of visibility. At its center was a structure that resembled a crown, or a throne, or perhaps both. Myra's voice echoed in his mind. It's layered, bigger than what we can see. Elias stepped closer to the glass. Commander, Harker's voice again, urgent now. You need to leave. That thing is... I know, Elias said quietly. The entity moved. Not toward the station.
Toward him.
Then the glass dissolved. Not shattered. Not broken. It simply ceased to exist. The vacuum should have torn him apart.
It didn't.
Instead, something held him in place. A field, a force, a presence that defied physics. The entity extended a tendril. It stopped inches from his face. And then, the signal returned. But this time, it wasn't a signal. It was a voice. You stayed. The words were not spoken. They were felt. Inside his mind, his bones, his very sense of self. Elias didn't flinch. I did.
Why?
A simple question. But it carried weight, curiosity, perhaps even expectation. Because running wouldn't change anything, Elias said. Because someone had to understand. There was a pause. A silence that felt like the turning of galaxies. Then, they fear what they do not know. Can you blame them?
No.
The tendril moved closer, brushing against his helmet. And in that moment, Elias saw, not with his eyes, but with something deeper. He saw vast structures spanning across dimensions, civilizations rising and falling like waves, stars being born, dying, reborn again, and at the center of it all, her, the alien queen. Not a ruler in the human sense, but a nexus, a consciousness that connected countless forms, countless realities. She was not an invader. She was an observer, a collector, a guardian of something far beyond human understanding. Your kind reached the edge, she conveyed. Few do. Elias struggled to comprehend the scale of what he was experiencing. What do you want? He asked. To witness. To learn. And the people you took? Another pause. Integrated. Elias's jaw tightened. They're dead. They are changed. That didn't comfort him. On the rescue ship, alarms began to sound. Commander, we're losing structural integrity on the station, Harker reported. You need to get out now. Elias glanced back toward the airlock, then at the Queen. Will you let them leave? They are not my concern. Then make them your concern, Elias said. For the first time, something shifted in her presence. Interest. You negotiate? I try.
Why?
Because that's what we do. We talk. We find a way forward. The tendrils recoiled slightly, as if considering him. You are different. Not really, Elias said. Just stubborn. A long silence followed. Then, they may leave. Relief flooded through him. Thank you. But you will stay. The words hit like a physical blow. Elias closed his eyes. He had known. Somewhere deep down, he had known this would be the cost. If I stay, you let them go? Yes. He exhaled slowly. Then we have a deal. The rescue ship detached moments later. Harker's voice came through one last time. Commander, Elias, what are you doing? He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he watched as the ship drifted away, carrying the last of humanity from the edge. I'm making sure this doesn't happen again, he said finally. Then he cut the transmission. The station began to break apart. Metal twisting, structures collapsing, not from damage, but from something more fundamental, as if reality itself was being rewritten. The Queen enveloped the remains. And Elias with it. He expected pain. There was none. He expected death. It didn't come. Instead, he felt himself expanding, becoming part of something vast, something infinite. You will see, the Queen conveyed. And he did. Years later, humanity would return to the edge. They would find nothing. No station. No anomaly. No trace of what had happened. Only silence. And a faint, rhythmic signal, repeating every 73 seconds. Back on Earth, in a quiet research lab, Mira Solon listened to the recording one last time. She had spent years analyzing it, decoding it, understanding it. And finally, she smiled, because she understood. It's not a warning, she whispered. It's a message. Far beyond human reach, in a place where space and time no longer held meaning, something stirred. A consciousness vast and ancient, and within it, a familiar presence. Still watching, still learning, still human. And when the signal pulsed again, just for a moment, it changed, ever so slightly, as if answering back.